So here it is, my vision, the most badass, stock looking, fully loaded, T-top, split bench, column shift, 1986 Monte Carlo SS you'll find on the planet. The goal of which was to bridge the gap between the pro touring and straight line performance, but keep it all in a unsuspecting, wolf in sheep's clothing, stock looking appearance. So in keeping with the stock theme, this is the stock color code from PPG, the stock maroon or metallic maroon. Multiple coats of base coat, then clear coat. Then my brilliant friend Adrian, who's been in the business for 30 plus years, selected these custom colors. It was metallic colors, hand masked all the stripes, painted these on, stenciled the badges, painted those on, and then buried it all in clear. Just absolute phenomenal job with a finish that's just a mile deep. And the badging is just perfect. Absolutely amazing job. Obviously, there are some subtle differences, like the 2-inch collar hood. I think that these cars should have came that way from the factory. The Corvette brakes on my aluminum ATS spindles that correct the horrible camber curve, less unsprung weight, and then the year one N90 wheels that clear the Corvette brakes. For the rear on my NASCAR 9 rear end, these are Iron Sport disc brakes. And then if you're in the back of me, and this is a cool thing about the NASCAR 9, is that it has an inspection cover that I put this LPW support cover on that gives some main bearing cap support. So let's take a look at the interior. So in keeping with the stock theme, I wanted to keep this all stock as well. Let's turn this off because that's a little annoying. The seats are original, just freshen up the covers. Back bottom seat is original. The upper is got Mike's Monte's cover. This is an ABS top from Mike's Monte's. The door panels and the uppers are from Mike's Monte's, but the bottoms are mine. The sills are mine. I just polished those. Carpeting is from Mike's Monte's, as well as those floor mats, but the dash is just in beautiful shape. And again, for all intents and purposes, I wanted you to sit in the seat and have all the gauges and everything look like a stock Monte Carlo SS. Obviously, the 8K tack from Mike's Monte's is a nice little touch. Little subtle difference here is my boost gauge, and then I've got alumina rear view mirror because the lighting for the T-top cars are just horrible. So, but other than that, stock looking. So let's take a look at the power plant for this wolf in sheep's clothing. So a monster, all aluminum stroked, supercharged, fuel injected LS. Absolutely just a blast to drive. My custom stainless headers from stainlessheaders.com. That's my design. You can pull those out in and out without removing the steering shaft or moving the starter. My custom ABS cold air intake. This is 3 pieces that I DA'd down and painted flat black with a window up front here to keep the cold air separate. Grommets for the aftermarket ZL1 intercooler that you'll see stuffed up in here in front. Drive-by-wire, I actually have that commanded by the stock from the SS because it's keeping in line with the stock theme. The PCM is a Trailblazer SS, which still uses that stock or analog stock for commanding the cruise control. This pulley setup is from Wegner Motorsports. These are aftermarket anodized pulleys. They've got an 8-rib setup with a really good wrap. And an underdrive, overdrive, I'm getting about 14 pounds of boost. The thing is an absolute monster and just puts a smile on your face every time I drive it. But really just wanted to take a lot of time and plan things out and make it look stock like it belonged in there. How do we allow this monster to breathe but still keep it stock looking? As I mentioned, these are my stainless headers, custom stainless headers that I made myself. This was before there was any LS swap solution. Holley has since released an LS swap stainless header and mandrel bent 3-inch X-pipe setup back for these cars. And I've integrated that with my stainless header setup. I will mention though that even though they do have a stainless header solution now, it still is not made for a column shift, which is another consideration of why I had made my own header. But this is a two-part or two-piece solution for the header back. The 3-inch, the first kit, part of the kit comes with a standard sort of Regal exit out of the back tire, and then the second part of the kit is the SS tailpipe, which you can see I polished those, but gives it a nice stock looking appearance. Put a still shot at the end of the video that shows the body off the chassis to give you some indication of the work that's gone in the chassis to bridge the gap between the straight line and pro touring performance. I also have some videos that detail all that work, but let's get into the fueling that'll still retain the stock fuel gauge but enable me to fuel this monster. I selected Racetronic's dual in-tank pump setup for a Grand National. I've got a G-body baffled tank that those pumps are in, but most importantly, it has the stock wiring for the float for the fuel gauge, and so that's just plug and play. This is the pressure regulator and pressure gauge that came with it, and you can see I just positioned this to make it look stock because there's some stock wiring that already comes across here with this strap. One pump is only running at a time. The second pump I've got commanded with 6 pounds of booster more with this boost switch. It's all E85 compatible, and I've got this E85 sensor that I've turned on to the PCM that will allow me to get another 100 horse or so with E85. And the nice thing about this is though is it's dynamic too, so no matter what fuel I'm running, standard fuel is E10 or E15 I can run, or E85 at any time, but E85 is also hydroscopic, so it allows me to purge all that out and just put some standard fuel so for storage purposes. Included in the Racetronic solution is an output. It's 12 volts for each pump that allows you to energize 12 volt LEDs for each pump. So I just ran the wiring up to my boost gauge here and sourced some 12 volt LEDs. This blue LEDs for the primary pump, and then I've got a green LED that'll activate or energize at 6 pounds of booster more for the secondary pump. So let's start it up.